Today's episode is presented by Fujiya Foods. Really happy to partner with a brand that has been part of both of our journeys. Fujiya means a lot to both of us, and we have a few stories to share. When I moved to Vancouver 6 years ago, Fujiya was the first place we found to buy Japanese ingredients. It's where we made Japanese curry for the very first time in Canada, and it felt like home. Also, every time I leave the studio after recording a new episode, like today, I make a stop at Fujiya on my way home to pick up some snacks for my family. And it's kind of a tradition now. What about you, Lisa? What does Fujiya mean to you?
Fujiya used to make Japanese fish cakes, and it was the only place we could get it. So coming from Calgary, that was the greatest present I can bring back home. So every time my mom said, make sure to get those fish cakes. So every time I came to Vancouver by myself, I'd have to make, a stop at Fujiya. It was the must stop. If you come to Vancouver, Fujiya is a stop. And I'd bring home the fish cakes and everyone would be so happy. And then we'd portion it, wrap it up in saran wrap and put it in the freezer so that we could save it for so many hot pot dishes to come over the winter. And it just always comes with warm memories.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. And we also have...
Oh, yes. Yes.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah. Well, I actually live quite close to Fujiya now, and I picked up one of their bags, and I noticed, I don't think they always had this one. It's actually their old logo, I'm assuming.
If you don't say anything, I will never notice that.
Yeah. So I was parking in the parking lot. It's a very small parking lot, so I got very good at rear.
I know, right? Especially when it's busy.
Yeah. So the key to going to Fujiya is not during rush hour at lunch, so you can park the car.
That's a good advice.
But behind the building, by the delivery trucks, I saw this sign on the building, and it looks like the original sign, because on the front you see this one. But I love this bag because I love how they're kind of going back to their original, origins.
Yeah. It's nice to see both of them, right?
Yeah. So I picked up some snacks
traditional one and the...
Mm-hmm. So I picked up a lot of snacks. I always raid the instant noodles.
Can we see that? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, we can see that. It's beautiful.
That's for you. I got you a bag.
Thank you. I have some of them. That's okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so today we have 3 different guests. I can't control myself. I can't help. So we have Lisa Nakamura, Lisa Nguyen, and Lisa Durrell. Of course, I'm just kidding, right? It is the same person. But behind each last name has a different identity, cultural heritage, and family story. Thanks for coming, Lisa.
It's
really happy to have you here.
All versions of myself are very happy to be here. I love that.
Sorry about that little joke here.
I love that.
Yeah. Let's start talking about your family. Lisa, you come from both Japanese and Vietnamese backgrounds. Nakamura is from your mom's Japanese last name.
Correct.
And Nguyen is your dad's Vietnamese last name. So where and when did their story first begin?
This is a really good question because I feel Japanese-Vietnamese mix. A lot of people say, oh, that's a unique mix. But I've met a few of us. But my family, it starts with my dad in Ho Chi Minh. And he always wanted to study electrical engineering. And of course, Japan being the electrical mecca, it was always his dream to study there. He's the oldest of 8 siblings, and it wasn't that they were wealthy or anything, but to me, my understanding is I think it was they knew he wanted to go so badly, so they made it happen for him. He was the one kid out of their family that studied abroad, went foreign. So he went to Tokyo and studied electrical engineering. And the craziest story is he asked for directions to the bank to my mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she used to work at
She didn't work at a bank, but I guess she might have just looked like a friendly face, and he asked to get to the bank. And their relationship started there. So they must have exchanged phone numbers right at that point. There's a few versions of the story.
Maybe he knew what he was doing.
Ooh, maybe he was just being smooth. He knew where the bank was all along.
Right?
But I guess the friendship sparked, and I remember, I think my mom was intrigued by something different, you know. My mom grew up in Japan.
By the way he looked, or
everything.
Everything.
Demeanor, language. I think his outwardliness, because, I mean, she's a Japanese girl, and Japanese men are very different from Vietnamese men. Probably. I don't know what it's like to be a Japanese girl in that time, but I assume there was something intriguing, and she was curious to get to know someone that's different. And I remember she said something like he showed up at her work with flowers or something. It was something a Japanese man would not do. And
wow.
It was just interesting for her. And it escalated into a relationship. And that's when things started to get really tough. Because as a foreigner, really trying to settle down in Japan is hard. You will always be seen as an outsider. You'll always have, those like alien identification cards. And when things got hard, especially with my sister being born there, it got hard to get her into a good school because of a foreign dad.
They got married in Japan.
They got married in Japan. And then
how was for your mom's family to accept this?
Oh, I mean, I think it came with a lot of tension. But ultimately, she was so sure that this was the person she wanted to be with. And eventually, they accepted my dad into the family. My mom went to Vietnam too one time. And she connected with my dad's family. Yeah, and this was like in the 70s, like a lot of stuff is going on, war and everything. But,
especially in Vietnam.
Exactly. Yeah. But during that time, it was love that happened, and my family accepted him as family, and that was okay. That they came around to it. And my dad was really good at learning the language. So he actually could speak Japanese. He picks up languages very easily.
Okay.
He works hard, but that's his talent. My dad can speak Vietnamese, French, Japanese, and English. And so when he moved from Vietnam, one of the funny stories he tells me of how he practiced Japanese was he'd pick up the phone and dial 0 to talk to an operator. Yeah.
To talk about what?
To just practice something. Like, because, yeah.
Maybe I should do this.
Yes. It was just so funny. He was so determined to fit into the language and culture of Japan.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think that effort shows, and my grandparents accepted him as family.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they had my sister in Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah.
She was born there.
She was born in Japan. So that's something that's very different between my sister and I. We are a decade apart. So, here's my mom, my dad.
So she was raised in Japan?
To a certain extent.
Okay.
Till like maybe six years old.
Okay.
Just the early childhood stages. Because she was a toddler in Japan, but then when grade school starts to happen, that's when it gets quite challenging to get your child into the school you want, especially when your father is a foreigner. And I think at that point, they had to make some big decisions of what is best for her to have the opportunities in life. And it became clear that Japan may not be the right place.
For them. Yeah, it's funny because I just watched. Did you watch that movie, Rental Family?
I did.
Oh my God! Right?
Yes.
It's all about getting. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to
Yeah,
give
okay,
spoilers.
okay, yeah, no, but yeah, no, but just remember that now because I
Yes.
watched like a couple of days ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it just
It's on
crossed
Disney
my
Plus.
mind. Yeah.
Yes. So the idea
That
of
family
the
going through
foreign-
that process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the girl needs a father to get into a school.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the systems are not built for, different types of families.
Yeah.
And for that, they decided to come to Canada.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the main reason.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And what's funny is he had friends in Japan at the time also going through similar situations. And so the first friends that moved to Canada actually moved to Regina. And they said, come to Regina. It's a great place. Come. So they actually first went to Regina.
Because of their friends.
Yeah, because of their friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I don't know where you want me to stop, but they didn't stay
Keep
in
going,
Regina.
yeah.
They didn't stay in Regina. They did a road trip to Calgary, and I believe it was a grocery store, another grocery store, a Korean, Japanese grocery store. That really kind of gave my mom a new perspective of, you know what? I prefer Calgary because there's a grocery store that sells
Because
Japanese
I think you
food.
said she couldn't find any in Regina, right?
Yeah. So to think of that is so funny. It's like, I'm going to move to a different city because they have a grocery store. But, food is so essential to a lot of families.
Yeah.
And I also know that feeling because when I go anywhere that doesn't have Asian food,
Yeah.
I start losing my mind. So I think my mom was in kind of a similar situation. And she's like, all right, we're moving. We're moving. Now, part of me wishes they kept going because then they would be in Vancouver too. But they stayed in Calgary.
Okay.
And Calgary is a very, very good place for them.
So you were born and raised in Calgary, right?
Yeah.
What was it like growing up with, two Asian cultures at home and Western culture outside home? How was that for you?
Yeah. I don't think as a child I questioned it too much, like a young child. You just accept whatever is in your house. So I grew up very Japanese. My household was all Japanese because my mom didn't speak English and my dad could speak Japanese. And my sister, she's a decade older than me, and she was I would say she was the protector of the language. So she always made sure that I speak Japanese to her, just as I speak Japanese to my mom. So I was raised in that very Japanese environment. Even TV shows, I watched a lot of VHSs that came in from Japan. I didn't grow up on the traditional cartoons that everybody watched here.
Mm-hmm.
I was jealous of like the other kids because they all have these memories of Mr. Dress Up or Sesame Street. I watched none of that. It was all Japanese shows and Japanese music.
There wasn't any like Netflix at that time.
No.
Did you bring like videotapes from Japan? How did you watch that kind of?
Yeah, so my family would send maybe like once every 2 months or 3 months, my grandma would pack a big cardboard box with videos, magazines, snacks. Like literally, it was stacked so well. There was no extra room. It was like Tetris. And then we'd receive these big boxes and then we'd open it up, as a big occasion. And my grandma, she wrote her letter on the flaps, the inside flaps of the cardboard box. So it wasn't even paper inside, it was on the box.
Yeah.
And so we'd read the letter all together and unbox it, and we'd lay out everything on the table.
Yeah.
We'd almost make a grocery store at home and like decide which one are we going to have first or which one do we save. So access to culture came through the effort of my grandparents. Those parcels, I think, were what saved my mom from, staying, like that feeling of connection.
Stay connected.
Yeah. And I still remember opening the box. It has that humidity smell.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I love that smell, even though it's kind of gross. But it just takes you to Japan because there's so much humidity.
Yeah.
And then you think about this parcel on a ship that's gone across the ocean and that salt
a lot
air.
Of work and effort from more grandma, like, picking everything, like selecting everything for you guys, thinking of that you guys are going to enjoy it, right?
Yeah. And of course, there's like some toys in there sometimes, or like mini discs were in there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember mini discs?
Yeah.
That was a thing back then. But yeah, there was music, food, snacks, some toys. And like around Christmas, it would be maybe like a special box of cookies from Tokyo Disneyland. So it was a very seasonal thing. But that was like one of my favorite childhood memories is opening the parcels.
These boxes, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
How was your dad? Like, because you said he kind of accepted, right? Like not just letting you guys, growing up in this more like a Japanese environment. What about his culture? Like, how was that for him? Like not seeing you guys like speaking Japanese instead, and of course English because you were living in Canada. But how was that for your dad? Like experience, like not really being able to share his own culture.
That's a great question, and I also wonder that question because I think in a way he has become quite Japanese. More than Vietnamese.
Is that right?
I mean, I don't know because I don't speak Vietnamese, but I think he identifies quite a bit as a Japanese now because he's been in it for so long, and he was also working so much because he was the only one in our family that worked. That I actually don't have a lot of memories spending time with my father growing up because most of the time it was my mom. When I did spend time with my dad, he'd take me out, trying to go skating or playing outside. But within the house and the culture building, it was really my mom that was the dominant force. I don't even think it even crossed my parents' mind to teach us Vietnamese. I don't think there was enough possibility in that. It was better to just stick to one and make sure one is preserved. And now I can speak it. Like I can speak Japanese fluently because how much focus there was on that.
And sometimes I think it's too much, right? I mean, like trying to balance all this, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right? And you have so many like different backgrounds, like, and you're living in a different country, and sometimes you gotta make decisions. Okay, let's go and try to keep the Japanese culture alive.
Yeah, I think you have to make some choices. Because,
right? Yeah, you have to make some choices, right?
Yeah.
You can't have everything, right? You can't.
Because he wasn't home a lot of the times, so who else would
He was
teach?
working, yeah.
Who else would teach? But one thing he has preserved is the food.
Okay, you're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how he's kept the Vietnamese alive in the household.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The other day I was messaging a friend. She's an actor. She recently performed in the music in Calgary. And I asked her what the Asian community is like there in Calgary, right? And she said Calgary has a good Asian community now. Did you feel that growing up there?
I think Calgary is quite, it's getting more diverse. Growing up, of course, I was still maybe like one or two kids in the class being Asian. I actually never thought of myself as Asian. My best friend growing up in the neighborhood was this blonde, blue-eyed girl. Her name was Morgan. I had another friend named Leanne. Like, I was just friends with them, and I never saw myself as any different from them. even in elementary, I didn't see myself as different. I would say junior high is when I felt different.
Okay.
Yeah. Took a long time, actually. That's when it started to really split. It became very clear that
you were different than the other kids.
And sorry, my watch went off.
It's okay.
And you know, what's kind of crazy, what really changed it is, I mean, a lot of the girls were maturing quite fast, right? Whether it's makeup, dating, shaving legs, like all those things that you become a teenager. And I just quite wasn't I wasn't on that same rhythm. I was going into junior high. I still wasn't shaving my legs or anything. But then it became like super clear. Like girls are hard. Girls are hard. Like they are mean sometimes. And if you don't match what they need, they might say they don't want you part of it.
You're out of.
Yeah. So I did go through something like that. But within that, you start finding new friends, which is great. But I think my identity as a Japanese Vietnamese was very confusing. Japanese was clearer. So I kind of just said I'm Japanese for most of the time because it's easier to explain.
Right.
Right. I don't need to make anything more complicated.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm Japanese. It's just easier. Yeah. Let's just end the story there. And in high school, I started to identify a lot with the Chinese community. So whether they were Chinese, Canadian-born Chinese, or what they would call fobs, like fresh off the boat, I connected with both. CBCs, I connected with them because we were both born here, and English we grew up with. Fobs, I connected because I was actually really Japanese. And so they were like, oh, you know exactly what's going on in Asia. Like, you're one of us. So I was split again within the Asian community. Now I was split again between Canadian-born Asians and then the Asian Asians who actually are first-gen immigrants. I was always stuck in between because during my school years, from September to June, I'd be here. But then as soon as school was done in the summer, I spent summers in Japan. So summers, I became extremely Japanese. Like my mom used to say, I would come out of the airport and she would be like, who is this? Like it didn't even look like me because I've become so Japanese in the way I, dress or talk. And then by the time June comes around, I feel like Canadian again. But right when I feel Canadian again, I'm all Japanese again. So it was constantly this like push and pull between. And I wanted to be Japanese, like very Japanese. So I almost felt like Canada was blocking me from being my full self. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't like coming back here because I felt like I fit in more over there.
That you would lose your connection to your Japanese side.
Yeah.
Coming back to Canada.
Yeah. So every year I took like 2 or 3 months to recalibrate to, okay, I'm Canadian. Like I'm here. Yeah. But there was nothing more important than actually going to Japan to learn the language. That's the only reason why I can speak it. It's hard to learn.
Why do you think you saw yourself more like a Japanese than, because you were born in Canada and spending most of your life hanging out with the other white kids. Why do you think you had that kind of desire to feel more like a Japanese?
Yeah. I mean, I think my family had a big part. I have 6 cousins in Japan, or 5 cousins. They're all girls. They're all older than me. And I just thought they were the coolest people. And I wanted to be one of them. And I wanted to, wear the school uniform. I wanted to have the backpack. I wanted to have their little trinkets of pencil cases and wearing the loose socks, all those things. And I felt like they had a better version of school or a better version of pop culture, or a better version of everything. I love Japan so much. And I think you don't have to try so hard to convince other people that you're on the same level, right? It's like, because, I mean, I'm born in the prairies. Being an Asian in the prairies, and I think being an immigrant family is tough. You always have to prove yourself that you have the right to be there. And it's exhausting.
It is. Not easy.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I hear you. So food must have been amazing in your house. Do you feel lucky having both Vietnamese and Japanese dishes growing up?
Yeah. I think I nailed the jackpot for food. For food, I 100%. I love the two cultures and the cuisines, and they're both so different. I think Vietnamese is something that's very communal because you make a big, a pot of broth, and typically you share with a bunch of people, or you have hot pot and you wrap in the rice paper. I've always connected Vietnamese food with like a gathering. Every time I go to Vietnam, it's a gathering, it's big. Whereas the Japanese food I grew up with in my household is more like my mom cooking for me. It could be a bowl of soup, like miso soup, a little grilled fish, pickles, and some rice, maybe a little stir fry. It's a much more subtle version of Japanese food. It's actually called kate ryori. It's a home cooking Japanese. So it's the Japanese cooking that we see in restaurants is restaurant Japanese food. That's not kate ryori. Yeah. So through that, I actually grew up eating Japanese food a lot because my mom was home mostly. But then occasionally when my dad was home on the weekends, it was, we eat pho or we do a beef barbecue or something like that. And yeah, I think I learned a lot about cooking just by being around them. Even if I was just sitting at the kitchen table, I would listen to them talk about food or the process to learn it. So now I know how to cook these for some reason. I just absorbed it from the kitchen energy. Yeah.
But your mom was basically responsible for cooking all the Japanese food, right? What about Vietnamese? That was your dad cooking Vietnamese food?
You know what? My mom actually started to pick up a lot of techniques. I would say she's great at cooking Vietnamese. She's great. But of course, it's maybe subtly adjusted to the Japanese palate, because very Vietnamese food can be quite spicy. Not like spicy, but 5 spice or cinnamon or star anise. Those spices are not used in Japanese cooking. So my mom likes to keep those spices more subtle. And it's this very unique, my home pho has a very Japanese palate flavor to it. And I love it. I love it. So when I go to restaurants, I also appreciate the very Vietnamese version of it. But my mom, when she goes to a lot of Vietnamese restaurants, she says, "Oh, that was too much cinnamon, too much star anise. Yeah. Oh, that was not good. That was a waste of money." It's always a waste of money to go out for most Asian families, right? I should have just cooked at home. But yeah, I mean, I think the beauty of it is over the years, there's so many blended foods that have come out of the household.
Fusions.
Nice. I don't even know what I'm eating anymore. My dad makes udon with fish sauce and fries it up. It's so good. Everything's...
But how did you learn cooking?
How did I learn cooking?
Cook Vietnamese. You're a mom.
Oh, my mom?
Yeah.
Oh, just by probably absorbing the techniques that my dad has shown her over the years. Okay. And just tasting, watching.
Trying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's a good cook. And once you learn the foundation of Vietnamese food, I mean, of any cuisine, actually, you can do it. It's a lot of fish sauce, a little sugar, lemongrass, chilies.
Okay. That's interesting. So, Lisa, you've said that so much of your passion started in the kitchen. As you said, watching your mom cook and going to the market with your parents. What do you remember most about these moments?
Yeah, I would say my most memorable quality time I spent with my family is going to the grocery store. Yeah. And I think just sitting in the cart and then, you bring in your next thing and just pretending your like handle area is a cash register. I don't know if your kids ever did that, but they go beep and then you put it back in the back. But anyways, I just think that going to the grocery store was when we were all the happiest. It was just joyful, like doing the errand together and all choosing.
Family time.
Yeah. It came with a lot of joy.
Mm-hmm.
It never felt like an errand. Like it doesn't feel like, oh, we got to get ready for the week. It never came with that weight. It was more like, okay, let's go gather all the things to make the feast. So I think, now to this day, as soon as I go to Calgary, it usually starts with a stop at TNT or Costco. And then, they'll make all the dishes I request over the 2-3 days I'm there. So that energy is still much alive, like to this day, even though I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just came back from Calgary?
Oh, yeah, I was in Banff.
Banff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I love going to Alberta. It's it's so nice. You got to go. The mountains are so beautiful. And yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
And the air is crisp and cold. And the sun
it looks
is
like
out.
fake. You're posting those photos like it's fake. That's AI.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So beautiful.
It looks so fake.
So again, like food has always played, a big role in your life, but the food connected to your cultural heritage seems especially meaningful. When did you start feeling that deeper connection?
The deeper connection came with my first serving job. Yeah, I worked at a Japanese restaurant, and that's when everything changed.
That was in Calgary?
Yeah. I worked in a Japanese restaurant, and it was the first time I learned about like sushi, to be honest. We don't really eat sushi at home. Growing up, I didn't eat sushi at home. It was always like a bowl of rice and fish. But the idea of sushi and the idea of, all those fancy fusion rolls that we have here, that stuff is very Canadian or North American sushi. Yeah. So I worked in this restaurant that was quite, I would say, like cutting edge for the time. But they had like the volcano roll. And of course, it's like Kewpie mayonnaise and sriracha mixed together. And it's like drizzled on top of the roll and everyone loves it. It has calamari inside. And like just watching non-Japanese people enjoy Japanese food made me so proud. Because I think growing up, you have such a complex, right? You don't want to be the kid with bringing rice balls to school. You don't want to be the one with a thermos with some mysterious noodles in it. You want to be the kid with a sandwich to fit in. It's just, no question, easier. Give me a sandwich. So when I started working in the Japanese restaurant, it was the first time that I realized it's okay to love my food. Whew. I get emotional thinking about it.
That means a lot to you, right?
Yeah. Because food is so much of your identity.
Yeah.
And you realize you spent like 10 years not being proud of it. And it takes you seeing other people eat it to convince you that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets me like emotional.
Do you remember anything like you went through when you were a kid that kind of made you have this sort of a negative? You knew it, right?
I knew it. I just cry all the time. So
it's okay.
Yeah. Do I remember something as a kid?
Yeah, like something that made you feel like that. Like, okay, I'm not supposed to be like proud of my cultural identity or food.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's I wouldn't say it's one incident that changed it, but I think all the little moments start to add up, right? Like so, for example, you go over to a friend's house for a play date, and the parents say it's snack time or dinner time, and then they serve macaroni and cheese and carrot sticks. And as a kid, you're like, "Ooh, this is cool stuff, right? Why isn't my mom making this cool like yellow macaroni? That's what I want. That's how I fit in. That's how I feel like I belong." So, like every play date, you'd have something like that. Or field trips, I don't want to bring a rice ball. I don't want to bring onigiri. Give me a Lunchables, those plastic containers with crackers and cheese and meat. Yeah, but occasionally I would look at, there would be an Asian kid with a thermos with noodles and they'll just be eating it like they don't care at all. And I'm like, oh, I kind of envy that person that doesn't care too much. Maybe I cared too much.
Yeah, maybe it was you.
Maybe it was me.
But my daughter, she's gone through some similar experiences. Like to this day, we have this, like kids comparing food or making jokes or to the point that my daughter one day, she came back home and we opened her container and it's full. Oh. She didn't eat anything. And my kids, they love Japanese curry, cut it. And then she asked for my wife, I don't want to bring in anymore because there's this other kid, she's saying like, it smells weird or why are you eating rice every day? Because we almost, we eat rice almost every day. Mm-hmm. I would say every day.
Every day.
So I think that's a kind of every kid will at some point compare or see the other kids' lunch bags and okay, what?
Totally.
Most kids are bringing hamburgers and hot dogs and mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Why am I bringing rice and something or onigiris or Japanese curry, right?
Yeah, and as a kid, you're like, oh my gosh, parents, why make this harder on me when it already is so hard? Let's just make it easy.
Yeah, because they don't want to be exposed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, I guess it's still happening.
It is. Yeah.
And those are tough days.
Yeah. But I think it was for me, I saw this as a good opportunity to kind of show my kids that that's okay. Every kid will bring their own food. Sometimes it could be, curry, could be, I don't know what, there's so many different foods and you just got to respect them. It doesn't matter what you're eating, right?
Yeah.
And, but this time you had to talk to her teacher and then ask her, okay, because that was happening almost on a daily basis, right?
Oh.
And we escalated because, it was actually, causing some issues. She wasn't eating anything. She would come back home and there's everything in there. I think she wasn't eating her lunch, right? So, yeah. But I think, again, I try to see that as an opportunity for me to talk about it, right? With my daughter and my son. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's better now.
It's getting better for sure. I mean, it's nice seeing all the kids eat seaweed, as snacks. Yeah. It's getting better, but it will always happen, right? Kids will always go through something like that. So, yeah. And that pain is real. When it's happening, you feel very lonely.
And you know what? I was happy because she wanted to share this with us. Because what if she doesn't say anything? Right, it keeps happening. She doesn't say anything, and then that becomes something bigger in the future. Right, I was happy that she actually, shared that stories that we could talk to her teacher and all that. I think, and now I believe that she hasn't gone through the similar experiences, but. I think it's nice when you have a daughter similar age, and I think it's
Well, I think
as long as they share this with you, and then you can.
Sorry, I got a cough. Yeah, well, I think you creating the safe space for her
Yeah.
to bring it up. And
Yeah.
I think that's really important. So you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. Speaking of identity, do you think Vietnamese and Japanese cultures have more in common than people realize?
I've never thought about that. I've never thought about that question because I always assumed they were just different.
Well, that's what I think. I don't know much about Vietnamese culture.
I would say, I don't think I can say anything that's right or anything that's wrong, but
Based on your
I would say
experience.
They're different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I see in Vietnamese culture is just generally they're very open-hearted. They're very welcoming. They have a warm culture of hospitality. You know, when I went to Vietnam, I couldn't speak anything, right? I couldn't say any words. But my uncle, he was so friendly, and he like peeled all the prawns for me, you know, and just fed me the good parts of the prawn. That was how he showed his love language. Like, welcome to Vietnam. I will peel your prawns for you. You know. But, you know, I think hospitality in those silent moments is so beautiful in those cultures. And Vietnam is just louder too. You know, they have a colorful, louder culture. And Japanese feel a little quieter, a little tamer, a little held back. They're still warm, but it's in very different ways, sometimes too formal. So I think I'm a little bit of both because I'm a mix. I'm very bubbly. I'm very welcoming.
Yeah.
And I would give that to my Vietnamese side. Where I'm Japanese is maybe I have a lot of respect for another person's and person's like how would they want to be treated in this moment, or how could I make their stay more comfortable, but overthinking it, not just in like, oh, I hope they relax and have fun, but I start to overthink the details, like in Japanese culture. Right. Then it no longer becomes fully from the heart. It becomes mostly more like clinical almost. Yeah. Whereas Vietnamese, I think they're more like carefree, and I love that spirit of them. You know, yeah.
And you have a lot of that.
Yeah.
In you, right?
I'm a free spirit. Yeah. Like, I feel like I can make 10 friends in a day. I'm like so open to that energy of that. So when I go to Tokyo, actually, I think people think I'm a little weird because I start holding the door for other people, or like,
why are you doing this?
Yeah, no one holds the door for each other over there. Everyone's too busy. And I'm just trying to talk to people. Like, people don't talk to strangers over there. So that's when I realize, okay, maybe like dial back Canadian, dial back Vietnamese, be more Japanese. And it usually becomes be a little bit quieter.
Do you feel like you have to adjust yourself to kind of sort of somehow fit into that environment?
100%.
100%.
Yeah. And part of me actually likes that part of multi-identity. I don't know, multi-dimensional. I don't know what the proper word is, but I actually like being a chameleon.
Yeah.
And being able to just blend in. It's magical to see how much your mind can adjust to different situations. And to me, I love that challenge. Sometimes I do get very uncomfortable around very professional settings. If I'm talking to somebody like from the consulate general's office, then I'm like, oh no, I don't know the proper Japanese way to like address this, or because I'm a very fluent conversational level. But then you put me in a political, like business, economical situation, I'm a joke. My Japanese, it would be like inappropriate. I would sound like a punk. But yeah. And there's actually a joke because I'm on the board at the Japanese school in Vancouver. And I grew up going to Japanese school on Friday nights in Calgary. Friday nights are for kids that predominantly, most likely, will not speak the language that fluently because maybe it's not their spoken language at home. But Saturday morning Japanese school kids were the serious ones. Yeah. And so I'm on a board, and the chair of the board, she grew up going to the Saturday Japanese school. And we always joke that all the myths are true. I'm totally a Friday kid.
You're the Friday kid.
And she's a Saturday kid. But we've embraced our difference. And But I like what she said to me, though. She said, but you know what? You put me in like a karaoke party with a bunch of Japanese people. Like, I don't think I could do that. You know, like the socialization. The socialization part becomes more casual Japanese. Do you know kanpai diplomacy?
Yeah, I've heard of
kanpai
it.
Yeah, I'm very good at kanpai diplomacy, like with drinks and party. Like, you know, I can become very Japanese, but in formalities, I don't have confidence in that.
So your kind of Vietnamese side, that comes from your dad. How would you describe your dad? Is he also like outgoing and?
Yes and no. I would say he is definitely outgoing, but he also spent most of his life working. So socializing was always done in a work setting. He didn't have much time to just hang out with friends or pursue hobbies with friends. So he is social, but it comes with limitations.
Yeah, not as much as you
are.
Okay.
Just because of the times.
I think you have already mentioned that, but I was reading one of your posts where you said you're proud to live between two identities, two cultures, and that being able to move between them is what makes you strong. What was the process like for you, like learning how to navigate both? And do you think that this is something that people can learn?
Yeah, I think so. But you have to be open, and you have to constantly be curious and aware of what is happening around you. And I think having a couple of people in your life that are willing to say the hard things. And I would say that came from working in a restaurant. Like for me, I had a couple of Japanese people I worked with. They were quite direct with me.
The first work at the restaurant in Calgary?
With Calgary, and I also worked in a couple here too. But, you know, so let me tell you a story about a morning meeting. So before the restaurant opens, you have a morning meeting. And so this Japanese chefs are there, and all the, servers are standing in a circle. We talk about what's on the special menu today, etc. And I grew up here. So generally, we're pretty laid back. And also we've been standing for a long time. We stand for a long time. So during the morning meeting, I had a slight lean on the counter to it feels good to lean back sometimes while you're listening.
Yeah.
The Japanese chef made a statement by walking across the entire room while the manager is speaking to correct my posture. It was, in the moment, it was very hard to accept. I thought that was completely rude.
Yeah.
But I also have a deep appreciation for how rigid and strict and how people are always watching. I didn't think anybody was watching me with a slight lean. But you see, they notice. Everybody notices how you walked into the room, how you took your shoes off, how you put your shoes together at the entrance. Japanese people, they're eagle-eyed. Did you bring a gift? Did you wash your hands? Did you rinse your mouth? Did you hang your coat up? Did you offer tea? Did you like everything?
There's so many things, right? Yeah.
So the only way you can learn to be a chameleon and go between cultures is to assume every movement is watched. And so you have to observe with that same amount of focus. So every summer I went to Japan, I learned more and more of how to fit in there. Because there's rituals there. No one's going to teach you the rituals. You have to learn them by observing.
You got to watch and learn.
You watch. So how do you have a bath? Because their bath style is different. What's the appropriate way to respect a communal bath space? What is the condition you leave it in for the next person? Just everything. And that only comes with time. You have to be like super focused, and you have to be okay for a couple of people to do something really, really like say something really that hurts your feelings a lot. Yeah. But change that perspective into like, okay, to that day, I didn't like what happened, but that day showed me to never let my guard down, especially in those situations. So, yeah, I think anyone can learn if you're willing to do the work, and it will take years and years.
It takes time.
It takes time, and I'm not great at it still. Like, it's an ongoing journey. You'll never perfect being anybody. The only thing you can do is just be more of you. I'm not willing to change who I am to fit into that rigid structure, but at least I'm aware of it so that I know what I shouldn't do. Yeah.
I think I remember and I was interviewing Paul Bay. He's Korean, right? And I think there's a specific word in Korean that says, the meaning is you gotta know how to read your environment.
Yes.
There's a I can't remember that name. Sorry about that. But there's a specific word in Korean that, that's the meaning, right? You gotta
Japanese
know where you are.
Yeah.
The people around you, that's gonna, it says, how you should behave or how you should do things. And
yeah,
that's interesting.
I think Japanese would be like kuki wo yomu, which means read the air. And I think you can say that in English too.
Same meaning, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Reading the air.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. It's actually funny because there's Shogun, the show Shogun. Mm-hmm. They have the second season in production right now in Vancouver or in BC. And they were looking for staff, translators, crew members. And somebody had approached me saying, oh, were you interested to be part of Shogun? And I said, absolutely. Except I can't work at, 4 a.m. I am a mom. Like, the schedule might not work. But I'm curious, what are the qualifications you're looking for? And he said, well, the qualifications are being able to read the air. That was literally all he said.
Is that it?
Yeah. And just by that, I knew exactly what he was saying. It's to understand the nuances of cultural diversity and differences and try to figure out how to make that work within a multi-language crew. And I just love that saying so much. Read the air. It says so much and so little.
So it's like, it doesn't matter where you are. You got to learn how to...
Yes. Read the air.
Read the air.
Read the air. I love that. That would actually be a great podcast title. Read the air.
Right?
Yeah.
You should create one.
Read the air.
Read the air.
Yeah.
So you also play with the fact that you have 3 different last names. And your husband, Greg, right? He jokes that it's a major branding problem. Has this ever felt like a real identity crisis in your life?
it is a major branding problem because...
To this day?
Yeah. Yeah, I think professionally too, because now all the projects I've worked on have different last names. So you probably had a hard time figuring out who I was
They
online.
are different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the same person. That's what...
Actually, the funniest story is over a decade ago, I auditioned to be a cooking show host. And I got it. I got the gig. And I wanted to do Japanese cuisine because that's what I'm most comfortable with. But somebody else had already done Japanese cuisine. So the production company said, hey, it sounds like you have Vietnamese descent. Could you do Vietnamese food? And I had not really cooked Vietnamese food other than, kind of with my dad.
At home.
But it turns out I knew a lot more just through growing up with it. But I said, yes, I can be a Vietnamese cooking show host. And then they said, well, I guess we should go with Nguyen then. And well, I don't think they suggested it. I think I said choosing Nguyen as my host name would be most appropriate to make me look like a legitimate Vietnamese cooking show host. Lisa Nguyen. Right? It's the Vietnamese last name. It's the Smith of Vietnam.
Because it's also you, right?
It's also me.
Shouldn't be a problem.
So I did that. But everything else I've done professionally is also like Lisa Durrell. And then if I do something that's for the Japanese community, I usually go by Lisa Nakamura.
You're Nakamura.
So there's no cohesive identity in all that.
Yeah.
And it's very split up. And going forward, I'm going to stick with Lisa Nakamura Durrell.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa Durrell. Because it seems to be like the easiest one to lock down in terms of
too long, like
internet
Nakamura.
space.
What would be the right order of it? Like Nguyen,
Lisa
Nakamura Durrell.
Lisa Nakamura Nguyen Durrell.
Oh,
That would
okay.
be the full name if I
That would
kept
be the
everything.
full name.
Yeah. But I think I attach so much identity to like, if I'm going to be Japanese, I have to go with my Japanese name. If I'm Vietnamese, I have to go with my Vietnamese name. So it just shows how confused I have been with my identity. I think finally in my 40s, I realized my name is only a name. It's how I show up as that most matters. But yeah, it just shows I'm truly a chameleon. Like I have no attachment to anything.
But apart from your professional life, do you think it has been a problem, or it was a problem in the past, or?
I don't think it's been a problem in the past, because when you're growing up, like you just have your last name in school, like no one really cares. And then when you start doing work professionally, I mean, by professional, I also mean like I was in radio, I was in TV in Calgary. So I went to broadcasting. So all my sign-offs were Lisa Nguyen, Lisa Nguyen, Lisa Nguyen. CTV News, Lisa Nguyen. 660 News, Lisa Nguyen. I did it just for a little bit. I didn't last too long.
But why did you choose Nguyen?
Well, Nguyen was my official last name. Nakamura is my official middle name. So I've always gone by Lisa Nguyen. And saying the full name is just like a mouthful.
I know, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you might you
like
have experience.
My wife, for instance, my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I guess that almost comes from a place of I don't want to inconvenience somebody by taking up too much, But when I think about it, like, you just, it's like, why do I care if my name is long? It probably comes something from a space of like, it's too much for other people. Yeah. But yeah, my daughter took the middle name, the Japanese name.
Okay.
So I'm actually really proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah. She has a beautiful name, by the way.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Is it Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to double check.
Well, I mean, there's many versions of it. But
no, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Kira is like shining star or shiny. Yeah. I love it.
On your Japanese side, you stay connected through the language, the food, and being involved in the community. Mm-hmm. What about your Vietnamese side? I know beyond food, how do you stay connected to that part of who you are?
the Vietnamese side, it comes in a very different way. I would say I just stay connected to my family, but there's no language that we speak together. So Instagram really helps. We just heart each other and heart. You know, I want to show them that, hey, I'm watching. Like, I know we're family, but I don't really have a relationship with a lot of my family members on my dad's side. A few of them I can speak to. Like, I have family that moved to San Francisco. I have family in Florida. I believe Houston. I have family in Marseille, France.
Yeah.
So they're everywhere.
Because they speak English.
Yeah. So they can all kind of speak English, kind of not. But I don't have the same relationship to Vietnamese culture as I do to Japanese culture. Yeah.
And as you said, your dad is probably a little bit more Japanese than
I think so.
Vietnamese.
I think so.
So you married Greg Durrell.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Asian, just like my wife. And we both have mixed kids. Now that you are a parent, how do you balance teaching her, about cultures and letting her find her own identity? Mm-hmm. Hey, if you're enjoying this episode, please consider subscribing. It helps this channel grow and get recommended to more people. Thank you so much. Back to the episode.
I think my husband knows how important it is for me to preserve some sort of connection to heritage. But the more I get into it, I'm realizing how hard it is to do it. Mm-hmm. So I've had to change my expectations quite a bit and realize my boundaries too, because I think in the first 4 years, it was kind of haunting me that I'm going to be the one that's not going to be able to pass down the language. I felt extreme guilt. I felt like a failure for my family. And then I went to Japan with my daughter, just the two of us, when she was 5. And she just couldn't understand anything. And it was really tough for me. I was maybe like embarrassed that, I'm the one that breaks this line.
You're the one that's supposed to teach her the language.
And I have not been able to.
You have not.
So I was very embarrassed for myself. And there's something in me that has switched. And that's thanks to so many of the parents in the Vancouver Japanese language school. And they're so supportive. They tell me it doesn't matter if they can write or read. The most important thing is they just keep showing up. So that's been my focus.
Yeah.
Every Saturday morning, just show up. If homework is not done, let it go. If we didn't, read one Japanese book this week, let it go. Just keep showing up, because there's something about the community itself would inspire the kids. And at the end of the day, she wants to go because she wants to see her friends. So many of the parents who have already gone through this stage of, their kid kind of not understanding why it's important to learn the language.
Because they don't.
It's a very complicated reason. Like right now, she's not going to care. Like,
no.
It'll get you a job. It's easier to find a job in the future. No, she doesn't understand anything. So my focus, I really had to work on this, is to move away from guilt and let's make it fun. Make it fun for myself again. Make it fun for her. So I'm so excited to go to Japan with her and Greg. And just show her the place as is without any expectation. I need to just take that off. Yeah.
Were you pushing her at some point? Do you think you were pushing her?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. But she was too young to be pushed like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't want her to have a traumatic Japanese school experience. Every kid kind of has a memory of, going to Japanese school, and then there's the kanji test.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. And you haven't.
That might be. No, I have. I've,
Oh my gosh.
as I said before, and I'm gonna say sorry right now because I've tried to learn. I've enrolled myself 3 times at the Vancouver Japanese language school. 3 times for the online
Yes.
language course, and I feel like embarrassed that that I didn't even like. I had like I took like 2 or 3 lessons and I kind of gave up. It was too much for me. I don't. Maybe because it's me. Again, the course is amazing. The teacher, sensei, is amazing. But I think it was the method. It's not for me. Especially when it comes to calligraphy and all of that. I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah, and I
I liked it. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's beautiful. But I want to be able to communicate in Japanese, right? And I think you're too busy immigrants, right? Trying to pay your bills. And okay, this is too much.
Yeah. And I think learning a language in a classroom is really challenging. And I don't think that's a really realistic way. I mean, you only learn language through talking with people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have 0 expectations. If my kid's not in Japan, it's going to be much harder to speak Japanese. If I don't take her more often. Actually, for me, what changed everything again is that Japanese restaurant, working in Japanese restaurants as a kid. Now I got to use my language not just in my family, but I used it now in my work. And that changed everything. I wanted to learn more. I learned slangs. I learned food language.
Yeah.
And so I found my own way to connect with the language. Then it started to just like go fast. You know, I got way better at speaking. I also fell in love with karaoke. So karaoke. And right at that time in the 90s, it was like all the best pop music. And I'd learn all the words and I could read it all. I was so proud of myself. So karaoke and working in a Japanese restaurant saved me from keeping my connection.
And also because you can sing, right? I've watched some of your videos. Right?
I really like singing. It's fun.
So much of who you are, your identity, your cultures, your upbringing started in your family and in your kitchen. But you didn't just keep that to yourself. You found a way to turn it into your profession, right? Let's talk about that journey, because your resume is kind of impressive. And your ability to reinvent yourself really stands out. Like the Olympics, hosting a cooking show, season 20 of Dragon's Den, and the list goes on and on and on. Can you walk us through your professional journey?
Thanks for looking it all up. It's really confusing. You know,
it is challenging. You've done so many things, and I really admire that. But I'm curious to know more about it, because it's how did you do that?
Yeah, you know what it all comes down to? I get bored easily. So I like always changing. And I think I'm always changing, but also I always need to be growing. And I need to try different things. And I think I chose a very broad profession, communications, broadcasting. It all comes down to storytelling. And as long as I can use my voice to tell stories about people, purpose, inspire people to tell other human stories, I'm happy. So that is the thread that connects it all. Like the Olympics, I was there to tell the stories of the people of Vancouver 2010, mostly like the volunteers and our internal staff. When I did Travel Alberta work, it was interviewing chefs and telling their stories and their food journey. When I worked in a restaurant, it's romancing food. You got to tell a story to sell food. And today I work with an amazing founder CEO who is so passionate to inspire entrepreneurship. So every day it's like, okay, how can I use one of his stories to inspire an entrepreneur. Everything comes down to stories. And that's a profession I never set out to do. I didn't think I would be able to do so much with just being able to tell stories. But it turns out after food and water or milk or whatever, what do kids need? Stories. You know, they say that when you're raising a baby, they need food, water, and stories. That's why you read books to your kids. It turns out it's just humans. Humans like need stories to move, to inspire, to grow. So I'm just excited about where things can go next. I never know where things are going. I just go with the flow of whatever opportunity comes next. But sometimes I think maybe it is time to start with more of an objective first and then try to reach it instead of going with the flow.
Do you have a mentor, like someone that actually coaching you or guiding you through that process? Because I think it's not an easy decision to make those changes, you know, even though, as you said, they're all connected somehow. You're doing what you do best, which is storytelling, communication. Do you have someone like actually that helps you to make those decisions?
No, I don't have one person, but I think watching my husband is very inspiring. He will always do projects that will only align with his values. He will start a project, like big projects, like make a documentary or, you know, he sets these big visions. And he is very inspired by Jerry Seinfeld, you know, the comedian.
Yeah. Yeah.
So his mantra was, it doesn't matter, like just write a joke every day. Whatever it is, just write every day and you'll get the jokes eventually. It's all about practice, right? You got to do something every day. How do you do 10 minutes to get closer to your goal? What can you do 1% better the next day? I mean, these are all mantras that we heard a lot now, like atomic habits.
Yeah.
You know, we all like this stuff. For me, though, it's also focus, but it's also about like fun. It has to be fun. My I don't know how do you call her? My grandma's cousin. It's a very far relationship.
How do you call that?
I have no idea. Great aunt or whatever. I don't know what the right title is. But she used to come to Canada and then I would see her when I was in Japan. And she always said, you know, whatever you do, you will bring like sunshine. Like sunshine is your skill. So I take that with me of like, how can I bring light to something? So that mantra kind of sticks out for me. Not mantra, but how can I find the joy in something is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Olympics, because you have recently shared a video about that photo of you and your dad wearing the Olympic jacket. And I asked you to bring some of your Olympic stuff. You wanna grab it now? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Okay. Hold up. You want me to wear one? Or no?
You don't need to if you don't want to. Yeah. We can just simply show them. Talk about your dad working as a volunteer at the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary, right?
So I was 4 years old, right? So my memories of the Olympics is quite, it's not clear. Like 4 years old, you don't remember much.
Almost no memories.
But if I look back at the photos, I remember being, you know, with those stuffies, the mascots, or watching some of the sports. And I get it. But what I remember most is my dad was part of it. And it took me many years to really understand what that meant for my dad. And as a Vietnamese immigrant who went to Japan and then knowing that it didn't work out, like coming to Canada, another foreign place. How do you recreate your identity again in a new place? But the Olympics did something very, very important, I think, in his identity and feeling like a Canadian it was a moment like that. I think that was the moment he actually became Canadian.
You mean like he was representing Canada?
Yes. Like knowing that this is his home, to do it for the country. Like there's something very patriotic about the Olympics, right? When you host it, you do it for Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pivotal moment, I think, for him. And when I found out the Vancouver 2010 Olympics were being hosted in Vancouver, I knew I wanted to be a part of it, but I actually didn't know how big of a scope an Olympic Games is. I didn't know there was a committee that forms over 10 years before the games start.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it becomes like a huge office. I just came in with like, I just want to be part of it. And then it turned into a job. Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Right?
I ended up becoming in our communications team and telling stories.
Of course.
That became my whole role. And the day I got my blue jacket, remember the uniforms? Yeah. I called my dad and I told him
He didn't know that.
Well, he knew that there was a uniform, but it was an important day just to say like, I got the jacket. And I brought it to Calgary the next time I went and we took that picture together. I posted. But I don't have my jacket with me today. But I mean, for anyone who doesn't remember, it was this blue. It was this blue. Yeah.
Can you see that? Okay.
Hey. Yeah. I wore this vest all the time. And then over the years, I've become just so into Olympic stuff, especially Calgary. And I found this very retro Western.
Wow. That's beautiful.
This way. Yeah. So I love this logo because it's a Canadian leaf. But if you look at the edges, it's a snowflake. And then it's also cowboy boots. I love this one. It's my hometown, Cowtown, Calgary.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that taught me a lot about national pride and identity. And for me, working for the Olympic Games was a really neat opportunity in myself, who grew up as, a Asian person. But when the Olympics and we all put our blue jackets on, like we're all cheering for Team Canada. You feel unified. You feel unity. You feel collective energy. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was something really special when you took that photo with your dad. And then when you were like, when you watched that video, you got really emotional. What was that moment for you, like showing to your dad and you both wearing the Olympic jackets?
I think that was a way to say thank you. I think it was a way to say thank you for making all the sacrifices. And it's like, I think now that I'm a mom too, I realize how hard it is to raise a kid. And then to only imagine doing that in not your home country, in a whole different language. I think that weight and that gratitude grows so much. And I'm crying again. Oh my gosh. This is not good.
No, I get what you're saying. And when I watched it, I also got emotional watching it because I think I texted you or I sent you a message right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see myself. I'm also first generation immigrant parents, right? And I see you like sharing these moments and getting emotional. It's like just seeing my daughter, right? One day, hopefully, she's going to realize the same thing, like all the sacrifices.
Yeah. One day your daughter
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you're a kid, you just think about yourself.
Yeah. Other kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see that kind of, that moment, like you seeing daughter and dad experience that together, it's beautiful.
It's funny. I posted that and then my dad posted a comment on Facebook and he goes, beautiful, love this story. And he said, thanks for letting me be part of your story. And I said, no, thank you for letting me be part of your story. It was so cute. Oh, it was so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing this and sharing this beautiful story.
We don't need this anymore. I should put it away.
Yeah.
It looks cleaner without it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great, that was a really special moment.
Yeah, it is. And it's nice because you shared it, you know.
Yeah.
I get, but if you want to just keep it to yourself, I really respect this. But when you share it, it's, there's something, you know what I mean? Like it's like this podcast, you today, like talking about your, you know, family stories and childhood and professional life. That's amazing. I'm not sure if people, they actually get it, but yeah, I think it's amazing. Yeah.
I think you're doing amazing, like to create this space for this kind of storytelling, right? Because, I mean, we do keep it to ourselves. Actually, do you know when I realized when I really needed therapy and healing? It's there's something about partying in your 30s, you know, it's very different from partying in 20s. But every time, you know, I got a little tipsy or whatever, I start crying first a little bit, and then I would have to connect with somebody in the club or like a friend, and we'd tell each other these types of stories. It just comes out after, you know, you feel a little like loose. And it became so famous that Lisa will always cry and tell a story before she goes all night dancing. And it's actually called Immigrant Struggles. Like if I'm talking to somebody in a club, my husband would be like, oh, there she goes again. She's immigrant struggling again.
It's her moment.
Yeah. But I think it really opened up something in my 30s where it's so much better if you can just share.
Yeah.
And the way you can connect, you give it, because it's such a weight on you. It's like a silent weight. But as soon as you let it out, it feels so much lighter. And also, you just asked me a question that I didn't realize myself of how deep that moment was in terms of like gratitude. So you just opened up a whole nother layer to that.
Thank you.
So that was amazing. It felt so good.
Yeah. Yeah. When you hosted a cooking show on Gusto TV, how did it feel to share your passion for cooking and showcase Vietnamese cuisine, especially knowing that so much of that, you know, what you know comes from your home and family?
I felt like on the top of the world.
Yeah.
You know, like to be able to do what you love and get paid for it, number one, is like that kind of miracle rarely happens, you know. But that was pure joy. I had so much fun. And what made it actually like a little funny is I'm not as attached to Vietnamese cooking as I am to Japanese cooking. So I had to really stretch myself and really dig into like, okay, what do these dishes, like what are the stories they tell? What part of Vietnam are they from? So as soon as I got the part, I went to Chapters and I bought all the cooking books and I read them from front to back. And I went to the grocery store to buy all the ingredients, and I made everything from all these cookbooks to study it myself. And then I got to like go on the show. But the stories that just came out so naturally because I felt like I knew some stuff from my dad. And when the show was airing, there was a specific dish, and I was on TV, and I said, this is a dish that my dad would make on like, you know, that's what I said. And then at that same moment, my dad was watching me cook it. He said, this is a dish that I make at the same time. So I didn't even know how deeply ingrained some of these stories already are in me, but it came out so naturally and I had so much fun. And I have not cooked as much Vietnamese cooking as I should because I learned a lot in those months that I focused on. But the intention of the show is it's to cook something, cook like ethnic cuisine, but pretend the audience is living like in the middle of Alberta, right? Say like Lethbridge or Red Deer. So you want to make it accessible enough. So that was the kind of the intent of it. And so I always imagine not my dad watching the show, but somebody in the middle of the prairies watching the show, kind of interested in learning about Vietnamese cuisine. Yeah. So it was shot in like 8 days in Ottawa, and it was a time of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great opportunity for you to learn more about the Vietnamese cuisine, right?
Yeah.
It made you like study and read all these books, right?
Yeah, now I had a purpose to like go into it deeper. Yeah, so it was awesome, and I think cooking in general, whatever cuisine it is just such a beautiful way to open up an understanding of why certain ways are done certain ways or how the ingredients come about. And actually, a funny story about Vietnamese food is the fish sauce, nuc mam. That sauce, every person makes differently. So when I go to Vietnam and I have like 6 aunts, they're all saying their sauce is the best. They're like, my sauce is better, my sauce is better, my sauce is better.
So they're never the same.
Yeah, they're never the same. So I love that. It's part of the culture to have your distinct flavor for that sauce. Yeah. So
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's like the fish sauce battle, right? Who has the best fish sauce?
Who has the best one?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Lisa, as I listen to your story, your cultural identity is always there. And so your connection to community and language. You graduated from the Calgary Japanese Language School, right? You already said it. That was for the language the Japanese language course on Fridays.
Yes.
Reconnecting with the Japanese community probably felt like a natural step when you moved to Vancouver, right? How did you get involved with the Vancouver Japanese Language School and eventually become a board member?
Yeah, when I moved to Vancouver, I would say food was my way. But the Japanese language school, I came to know about after I had a kid. Because I was looking that's when I thought, oh, okay, I really want my kid to learn Japanese. And so I was looking for daycares. It just happened to be I called at the right time. There was one spot open. Somebody had just dropped out. And I was like, yes, I got in. And so the first time I walked into the Japanese school, I was like, this is weird, I had no awareness of the history of Japantown and how vibrant that area was. Powell Street, Oppenheimer. Like I lived in Vancouver for a while at that time now, but I never went to downtown East Side for like anything. That was the first time I stepped into downtown East Side. And then I stepped into the Japanese school. My first thought was, wow, there's a whole building for Japanese language and culture. In Calgary, we didn't have our own building. We used a high school, like some high school, and rented it during the weekends to have the school. So it never felt like our place. We're always renting somebody else's space to have, the language classes. But here we have our own building. And there's a kitchen. All the volunteers make a lunch. It's very vibrant every Saturday. And so the other thing that stood out for me is that there's new immigrants. There's also first, second, third, fourth, fifth generation, and then other people who I don't know why they're there. They might be working for a Japanese company, so their company pays for them to study the language. I realized that there's not one definition of being Japanese. There's a spectrum of Japanese identities, and every generation comes with a different layer, right? So I felt, wow, I don't have to be anybody except for myself, because I always struggled with, I'm not Japanese enough. But when I'm there, I finally realize, oh, there's so many people who also are in the same boat. So I feel like I belong. And that's why I became a board member. And I care about the community. Actually, this year we have a really big year. We have a 120th anniversary.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we're at such an integral part of what do we do with that community to make sure that it survives another century. You know, we need to do a lot of fundraising. We need to do a lot of engagement. There's a lot of work that needs to get done.
Yeah, I was going to mention that it marks 120 years since the Vancouver Japanese language school and Japanese Hall was founded, and it's recognized as the oldest Japanese language school in Canada. So it's huge, right? Can you share a bit about its history in Vancouver?
Yeah, so it started in 1906. So it was more of it wasn't as big of a building now. It started off much smaller. But, I mean, children went there for school, their primary school. It was also like a communal place for moms to gather. It was where family occasions were spent. Over the many years, it became bigger and bigger as the community got bigger. But, I mean, I think the most shocking part of it all is World War II and the internment of the Japanese Canadians. So that building was the only building that was returned to the Japanese people. And when I say returned, it wasn't even like actually taken from them. There were a lot of people who did a lot of work to keep that in the Japanese community's hand. A lot of people who came together to stand for what's right and to protect it. But that is the only building that went back to the Japanese Canadians
After the war.
So to have that resilience and also to rebuild that community again, the building is like a living legacy. It's a National Historic Site as well. And the halls come with a different type of energy, you know? It's walls that have seen immense pain, immense racism, discrimination, and it's also where we stand so proudly too. And I think we're just getting started with that building. And there's so many people who haven't even visited the building before. So much of Vancouver don't even know about it. Like, we need to start sharing it.
Yeah,
So
agree.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's an exciting time for the school. I can't share all the details.
I was going to ask what's coming up to celebrate such a meaningful milestone.
Well, I can't
If you can share
all the
something.
details, but I will say, just because I love saying stories, it's going to be a really important place for all kids and all adults to visit, to learn about the history of Japanese Canadians, and to learn about social justice, and to learn about what it means, what it means to stand for what's right, or what is our identity, what is, and like question ourselves, right? What role do we all play in? So I think it's going to be, I hope a lot of people will take this year to make a plan to visit. And honestly, like, you can come on a Saturday to have lunch with the community if you want to too.
Oh yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
You've been there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, anytime. Like, it feels so locked out, like locked in.
Mm-hmm.
But please come. Like, come have lunch.
We'll do more of that.
Yeah.
That's all you can share? Okay.
Yeah. I know, I really wanted to share more, but I can't. I've been told like I can't.
Yeah.
So
Okay, no problem.
yeah.
What do you love most about being part of, the Vancouver Japanese Language School as a board member?
You know what? I like being part of the community as a parent, first and foremost. I think that is my number one, more than being a board member. I think, when I'm struggling, when my kid doesn't want to do the homework, it's the other mom who comes to me and says, it's okay.
it's okay.
My son didn't want to come to Japanese school for 4 years, so he dropped out, and then he came back.
Yeah.
Don't worry. So that community is what I value. Being a board member, actually, like, you know, is that part feels like work, and that part feels like I need to work because I care about this community. Whereas a parent, I go and I just feel like a kid, just having fun.
Oh, I see.
You know, so I like having both, and the teachers, and just practicing my language. But it's a great community, and Fujiya is close too, so I always go to Fujiya right after school, like with like a lot of other kids.
I really want to thank you for being on the show, because, you know, it's been a while. We've been exchanging messages like, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I knew it was going to be sort of a special episode.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so neat what you're up to. And it's like healing for both of us when we share stories like this. I definitely have tissue papers going.
As you can see, the podcast name is Yes, I'm Asian. Can I ask you to try to complete that? Whatever comes to mind. Would you complete that sentence? Yes, I am Asian. And?
Ooh. I love these things. You can take it in so many directions. Yeah. I would say I am Asian, but I don't define myself as Asian. I am a mixture of cultures, mixture of so many people, and I am myself. I am me. You know, so many times we all have been asked, where are you from? You know, you go into a taxi, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? I think we're all tired of that. I am Asian. I am Asian, but I am me. Like, I don't. Sorry, I might have to like redo that. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Because you're such a unique person, and you are who you are. That makes, you know, the person who are. Like, that's why you're so special. That you're everything, right?
And we all are.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And it's Asian comes with a category.
Mm-hmm.
And I am tired of being in a category.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you want to show what you brought today?
Oh, yeah. I'll be super quick.
Okay.
But I just want to give you a little context.
Okay, sure.
That was such a deep ending. Oh, my God.
Sorry about that.
Wasn't that deep? Oh, my gosh. Okay, back to the snacks. Okay, do I need to go like this or? Okay, this is umeboshi. Have you tried umeboshi before? It's pickled plums, and it's a traditional, it's a very sour plum.
That's sour.
Have you seen this?
Yeah.
And so traditionally, it's a bowl of rice. And then you put this in the middle.
Yeah.
So during wartime, the Japanese soldiers would get rice and this in the middle, which also looks like the Japanese flag. So it's a very nationalistic, patriotic dish.
To know that. Okay.
And it's very, very yummy. I love it. You love it or hate it?
Can I be honest? I don't.
Then I'll just take it back home. Okay. Canned coffee. Legendary.
I'm sorry, we didn't. That's what I think.
Yes. This is...
Okay, coffee, yeah.
If coffee's good.
Yeah.
These are...
love coffee. Coffee, I'm addicted to it.
This one is a special one because it's fresh buns with red bean paste inside.
Mm.
And it's baked by, so ampang. It's baked by Foster's Bakery. And it says Oguraya Bakery in the back, but a division of Foster's Bakery. This is the bakery that I grew up going to all my life in Calgary.
Oh.
So everyone in Calgary and Banff, they would order their bread from there because it has a Japanese like texture. Yeah, Foster's.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah. And so now you can get these at Fujiya too. Cup noodles, of course. And then, okay, yuzu kosho. Do you love yuzu kosho? Okay. This stuff is, like, I just put it on grilled chicken. But I think this is the best thing you can add to any meal. And I got you a bottle of barley tea, mugicha. Because as a kid, this is non-caffeinated. Mugicha, this is the drink you bring on field trips or picnics, sports day. And to me, every time I have mugicha, it takes me back to being a little girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is black tea.
It is.
Green tea? Black tea?
I mean, it's just roasted barley tea.
Okay.
Yeah. So please try it.
I know this brand, yeah. Okay. I'll try.
Yay!
Thank you. What else?
Oh, and my cup noodles.
A cup noodle.
Yeah, this is kitsune udon. So this one, I mean, the dashi broth is really tasty on this. And it's also the mini version, so you don't have too much sodium.
Mini version, yes.
Yeah. So please enjoy this when you need a little snack. Yeah, this is the same. I just got you 2.
Same flavor?
They're both dashi, but one is... Actually, no, they're both the same. That's my favorite one. It comes with a sweet tofu puff thing on top, too. Yes.
Thanks for bringing all that. I'll try. Except this one. I'm not a big fan.
It's okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for everything. Yeah.
Thank you.